to start? You're a salesman. You're a salesman and you're selling an idea. And the idea is this. The idea you're trying to sell is that things were better in the good old days. How much better off we all were back when God ruled over mankind. Well, sorry to burst your bubble, but God never ruled over mankind. It was always man ruling over mankind. And it was always kings, it was always churches. When the church ruled over mankind, we had the Dark Ages. They don't call them the Dark Ages for no reason. The Dark Ages were filled with disease, they were filled with pestilence, they were filled with war, killing. They frankly sucked, okay? You want to go back to what made this country great? It was not God. It was not God at all. It was progressive ideas. It was breaking away from the divine right of kings. Understand? It was God in England that appointed the king, all right? Those were the good old days. That's what we broke away from. It was progressive ideas that started this country. And don't you ever forget it. Now, the good old days were not so good. They weren't good at all right? Now, am I going to stand here and say there aren't any problems with modern society? Of course there are. They're very evident. They're in our face. But to ignore the problems of the past is a mistake of epic proportion. Epic proportion. God does not exist. God is not going to solve our problems. Going back to a conservative ideology is not going to solve anything. It's going to bring back all the problems that we had before we had progressive ideas. It's not going to solve progressive problems. We need to keep advancing, and that's what we're trying to do. But people like you who keep promoting this idea that things were better before have got to be stopped, because things were not better before. We had war, disease, shortened lifespans, people miserable with their lives, widespread unhappiness, okay? And I believe that people should be happy. I think we need to understand more about human nature in order to structure our society and our civilization so that more people are happy, okay? And we're doing that. We're trying to do that. But people like you, who insist that we have to go back to the past, are making things more difficult. Things were not better before. Not at all. That's all I gotta say.